Hello, hello, Sagittarius. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your February 2020 tarot forecast. I'll be giving you a Celtic cross reading for the month of February. See what insight and information we can gain for all Sagittarius people out there. All right, so we would like a Celtic cross reading for all Sagittarius people, sun, rising, and moon for the month of February 2020. Let us see what we get. And there we are already. The Tower, starting off very powerfully. The Page of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. The Eight of Wands reversed. The Lovers. The Hanged Man reversed. Death reversed. The Ten of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. And a final outcome card of the Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, so let's dive in here. Your current outside influences, it is indeed the Tower. Catastrophe, destruction, all these things, well, maybe, maybe not. For some of you, yes, this can indeed be intense upheaval all of a sudden. You know, the false structures that we build in our lives must collapse. You know, they must come down if they're not built on a foundation of truth. In other words, if there are like ego-driven forces in your life, or if there's something that is basically, I'm trying to put this into as simple of terms as possible. If it's not in harmony with your greater good, with what's ultimately best for you, it must collapse. It must fall. However, the Tower can also be, and it can be this at the same time as well, a sudden awakening, you know, a sudden transcendence of that egoic structure, and sudden insights, revelations, realizations, you know, new information coming to light, and things really changing very quickly, very powerfully. But yes, it is true. However this manifests for you, it is very often talking about this energy of like breaking things down in a very intense, sudden, powerful way. And yes, it does get chaotic typically, but it's ultimately like leading towards something that is fundamentally better and more true. It's like breaking down the false so that that which is true can be unveiled. So very interesting there. Now, many of you, I'm going to tell you right now, and interesting that, of course, we have Valentine's Day this month, that the idea of love is being activated for you. Page of Cups is your challenge card. We've got some other indicators coming up for this as well that we will go over. But Page of Cups for your challenge card says, okay, basically this month your challenge is surrounding a potential lover. Now, if you're single, this would then be a new person coming in. If you're already partnered up with someone, then things may be intensifying with that person in some way, shape, or form. If you're not interested in relationships of that nature at all, then the energy's got to manifest somehow. It'll likely manifest as some like deliciously creative opportunity or indulgence or project or something in your life that, yes, can pose a bit of a challenge. And it's interesting how it crosses over the Tower card, as if to say that this lover or this creative project or whatever is somehow connected with this upheaval, this sort of necessary upheaval. But nevertheless, it then becomes your challenge to deal with that, essentially, to face and integrate that into your life. For the underlying energy, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is everything forming a foundation for your current situation this month. And it's very interesting because this does talk about steadiness and security and stability, like working steadily away on the road towards success. So it's funny because we just talked about the Tower, which talks about sort of destroying or creating a lot of great upheaval within that stability. So there's a couple different thoughts I have with this. One is that, first of all, as you're experiencing this upheaval of the Tower, you have strong foundations in like a person or maybe money or material possessions or something like that. You have like a lot of good support during this time of either upheaval and or like awakening or whatever sudden change the Tower ends up indicating. You are supported during this time, fortunately. However, in another sense, I almost want to say, well, this may be the very structure for some of you that needs to crumble. This may be the very sort of monotonous routine thing that needs to come down. So take from that whichever resonates, I would say. Of course, that could also be a person, with being the Knight of Pentacles, who is more or less supporting you, especially an adult male sign. That would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So for the past and issues that you've had to deal with that then affect the present, you got the Eight of Wands reversed. This card is all about delays, things not moving quickly, things not moving in the way that you want them to move. And it's interesting how there are some indicators of like love and relationships for a lot of you this month, because this card has some, I'd say, fairly loose associations with that idea of love and stuff like that as well. And then when it's reversed, it's like saying love is delayed in some way, or at least that would be my sort of intuitive interpretation. So it's like the cards are saying where things have been delayed in the past, this month, they are delayed no more, at least early on. My one caveat with that is later in the month, we have Mercury retrograde. And so there may be delays of another kind or maybe even similar kind later in the month. But early on in the month, the cards are giving very heavy indicators here that things are going to be changing and changing a lot. For what you hope to achieve, you have none other than the Lover's card. This is like your highest hope, your highest goal, what you're reaching for, what is on your mind. So the Lover's card, let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. It's literally called the Lovers. Many of you may indeed be hoping to either find a lover this month or have a more harmonious relationship with an already existing lover. But let's take it a step deeper, because this card is so much deeper than that. The Lover's card is very much about this idea of having your values in alignment and making the right choices. Making the choice that is more difficult to make, but that is the right one to make. The choice that is not going to give you instant gratification, but it is going to be better for you in the long run. And so, and it's interesting how we see some other things cropping up in the next couple cards. I do believe relating to this. It's like saying this month you're hoping, many of you are hoping that you have the ability to make the right decision in the face of what may be some level of temptation. In a more generalized sense, this card can just talk about choices and decisions in general. It can talk about the idea of integration of opposing polarities, or the reconciliation of two opposing forces. And so that is something to consider as well this month for a lot of you. Like if it's you versus someone else, then this may be the month where you're like saying, okay, I want to finally reconcile my sort of opposition with this other person or whatever. But it doesn't even have to be with another person. It can just be any two forces that are opposing need to be reconciled. For the near future, this is where I might get a little bit direct with you guys, only because I'm seeing it here in the cards. You got the Hanged Man reversed. Now, this would represent the first week or two of the month. So the Hanged Man reversed, especially in this context, is indicating the idea of resistance towards facing the darker aspects of yourself. And so many of you may have some upheaval this month that may be significantly uncomfortable, or it may just be mildly uncomfortable. But this card showing up in the near future is indicating that many of you are also going to be resisting the integration of that. And so the message here, of course, is do your best not to resist it. You know, these are things that need to be faced and integrated. These things are happening to you for a reason. You know, don't just try to pretend like they aren't there. I'm not saying all of you are going to do that, of course, but some of you, from what we're seeing here, that may be a bit of a risk. Now, for others, actually, I would say for all of you in general, this card, in another sense, can be an indicator that, just another reminder that those delays are not happening anymore, that there are breakthroughs, like the Tower card reminded us, or indicated for us. There are breakthroughs this month. Things are happening. But regardless, you know, don't give in to the temptation to get lost in a fantasy world. And I think I even know what's going to tempt you guys, or many of you guys coming up here. We're going to get to that in a minute. For your attitude or position in the situation, about halfway through the month, you got Death reversed. So again, Death card, when upright, is all about this idea of inner transformation, catharsis, purification, you know, facing the dark, deep emotional healing, all this stuff. The reversal of it for your attitude or position in the situation is an indication that many of you are not going to want to process that stuff. So again, my message here is basically the same one with the Hanged Man card. Make sure that you aren't avoiding the processing of deep, dark material, or the processing of your issues, or whatever your challenges happen to be at this time. You know, we just had the perfecting of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. That is very much not over yet. That energy is going to be with us basically the whole rest of the year, pretty much. And this is not a time to run away. This is a time to really face and reintegrate what we need to. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. You know, if you don't deal with the problem, it just gets worse. It does not go away. Now, for the outside force coming in, very, very interesting in this context, you got the Ten of Cups. This is something coming at you this month. So first of all, I don't want to overlook the very positive meanings of this card, because it's true. It is a very, very positive card. This is a card of great celebration and happiness and harmony, and like harmony with family and friends, and, you know, celebration, completion and manifestation of like your dreams and stuff like that. So for many of you, there may indeed be something very good coming towards you this month. There should be, in fact. My caution about it, though, and I hate to sound like such a Debbie Downer here or whatever almost, but on the heels of the cards we just looked at, this apparently very good thing may be the very thing that tries to tempt you into not dealing with your issues this month, basically, that tries to tempt you to sort of escape into a fantasy world or escape into whatever pleasure this is. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with enjoying whatever this is. Definitely not. Absolutely enjoy it by all means. Just don't put all of your focus there when some of these other things beneath the surface need some of your attention as well. That's all. So it's not like you have to, I don't know, have your whole life suck all the time, or, commit yourself to trying to heal yourself 100% of the time. That'll make you go insane. Just do enough of it that is needed, and then enjoy the good things as they come to you. For your hopes or fears, you got the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So this is talking about a fear of not having safety and security, because that's what this card is, a big part of what it's all about, especially financial security, but it can also be just security in general. Let's see, the Queen of Pentacles, if we get deeper into the card, talks about this sort of like oneness with the Earth's natural rhythms, and almost like the idea of Mother Nature and that sort of thing. When it's blocked and it's in your hopes or fears, it's like part of you is afraid that you're getting out of touch with the natural rhythms of life, that something's just not right. You're not going with the flow of life. And that, of course, may be what we see with some of these things, like, issues are coming to the surface and they need to be dealt with. I would say it's likely those very issues that are preventing you from going with the flow of life, if that is your situation. For the final outcome card, you got the Queen of Swords reversed. And I'm going to do what I so often do, which is draw an 11th card to give us more information on this situation for you. And we got the 9 of Wands. Okay, so let's see here. 9 of Wands plus Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, well, let's just go over some things here. So Queen of Swords reversed, especially that Mercury retrograde, I think is going to manifest for a lot of you as just a lack of mental clarity. It's also Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is already a sign that is not conducive to Mercury at all. Mercury's in its fall there. So, I mean, this is happening for all of us, but for you in particular, Sagittarius, don't be surprised if at the end of the month it's difficult for you to see things clearly. This can also potentially indicate at times conflicts with air signs, especially adult female air signs, with this being the Queen of Swords. So that would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So do be aware of that potentially. This can be an indication to be kind of wary of your friends and allies. It can be an indication that things are not as they seem. So, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is, especially as we get into that Mercury retrograde. But then what is the energy that brings all of this together? Well, that's why I drew another card to get like, well, what really is this Queen of Swords about? What is this whole reading also about? And of course, we got the 9 of Wands, the warrior who is wounded and tired, but who is ready for one final battle. And so I think that's the real message overall this month is be like the warrior in the 9 of Wands. Know that you're almost there, okay? You're almost to where you want to be. Keep fighting. There is one final battle. You are so close. And even if you don't get there by the end of February, here's the thing. Remember, there's delays in the air. Even though for you, there's a lot of breakthroughs early in the month, by the end of the month, there's delays for all of us. Just wait until like late March into April, and I can virtually guarantee you that you will see more progress then. So even if you don't get to where you want to be at the end of the month of February, and you probably won't, by the way, just give it another month and a half, and be like the warrior in the 9 of Wands and fight. So fight for what you want to achieve, what your goals are, or whatever. All right, so that's about it, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. If you're not ready, I'm always posting and streaming more astrology and tarot related content. Other than that, I just hope you have a really great February. It looks like it's going to be quite the dynamic month for you guys. A lot of exciting stuff happening. So do enjoy that. And thank you again so much for watching, and have a great night and a great month.